The bread hit the floor before she could hide it. 2 hard pieces rolled from her apron and stopped near the cook's boots. The whole kitchen went quiet. No one moved. No one even breathed. The cook stared at the bread, then at her. His face tightened like he had been waiting for this. "You stealing now?" She kept one hand on the broom. "I was cleaning. That bread wasn't dirt. It was going stale. That don't make it yours." A younger maid stepped back from her like hunger could spread through skin. The cook bent, picked up one piece, and held it in the air. "Caught you plain." Her throat tightened. She did not beg. Begging had a sound to it, and she hated hearing it come out of her own mouth. "I was hungry," she said. The cook laughed once. "Short. Mean. Hear that? Hungry." A ranch hand muttered, "Ain't everyone?" The cook slapped the bread down on the table. "Not everyone steals from the house." She leaned the broom against the wall. "Take it from my pay." "You don't have pay worth taking." A few workers smirked. The kitchen door opened. Boots crossed the floor slow enough to make everyone nervous. He entered without hurry, tall, coat dusty, face unreadable. The widower. Owner of the ranch. Half the room lowered their eyes before he even spoke. "What is it?" The cook cleared his throat. "Caught her stealing." The widower looked at the bread. Then at her. Not angry. Not surprised. Just watching. "She stealing?" "Yes, sir." He asked her directly. "Did you take it?" She met his eyes because there was nothing left to protect. "Yes." The cook stepped closer, ready now. "I told you." "Throw her out." The widower stayed still. "How long since you ate?" She blinked once. "Yesterday." "Anything since?" "No." The cook scoffed. "Sir, with respect, if you let one take food, the rest will start." No answer. The widower walked toward the table, picked up the bread, turned it once in his hand. Then he looked at her again. "How old are you?" She frowned. "What? How old?" 26. "You married?" "No." "Any children?" "No." The cook looked confused. "Sir?" The widower placed the bread back down. "Then marry me." Silence cracked through the room harder than shouting. Someone dropped a spoon. She stared at him, certain she had heard wrong. "What did you say?" "Marry me." The cook laughed first, nervous and ugly. "Sir, that ain't funny." "I wasn't joking." Now even the workers looked unsettled. She felt heat rise in her face. Not from shame. From disbelief. "You don't know me." "I know enough." "You know I stole from you." "You stole bread." "That still counts." He nodded once. "It does." She folded her arms. "So this is punishment?" "No." "Then what is it?" He studied her like he was measuring lumber. "A solution." She almost smiled at that. "Almost." "For who?" "For both of us." The cook stepped in again. "Sir, there are women in town." "I didn't ask for women in town." His voice was flat. The kind that ended arguments before they began. The cook shut his mouth. She looked at the widower harder now. He wore his wedding band still. The gold had dulled with work and time, but it remained. "You got a wife already." "She's dead." The room shifted. No one liked mentioning her. She glanced at the workers. All stiff now. Silent. "How long?" 8 months. "And now you're asking a kitchen worker to marry you because she stole bread?" "Yes." "That sounds insane." "Probably." She rubbed her palms against her skirt, suddenly aware of every eye on her. What do you want from me? A wife on paper. That all? For now. The words chilled her more than if he had smiled. She asked quietly, Why me? His answer came fast. You're invisible. Her jaw tightened. That's supposed to comfort me? No. He stepped closer. Not threatening. Just certain. You need food. I need a wife. Simple. Nothing simple starts like this. No. He offered his hand anyway. Not gentle. Not romantic. Just open. Behind her, the cook whispered, Don't be stupid. She looked at the hand. Then at the bread. Then back at him. The kitchen waited. Every face frozen. Every mouth shut. She did not take his hand. Not yet. But she didn't walk away either. Outside, a horse kicked against the stable door, sharp and restless, as if even the animals understood something unnatural had begun in that kitchen. Outside, a horse kicked against the stable door, sharp and restless, as if even the animals understood something unnatural had begun in that kitchen. She still had not touched his hand. The widower lowered it slowly, not offended, not embarrassed. Just patient in a way that made her more uneasy. Come with me, he said. She glanced at the cook. His face looked almost insulted, like her misfortune had suddenly become his inconvenience. Sir, the cook muttered, this is madness. The widower ignored him and walked toward the door. Not fast. Not checking if she followed. Like he already knew she would. She stood there for one more breath. Then another. The kitchen workers watched her like she was walking toward a hanging. One maid whispered, Don't go. She looked at her. You feeding me if I stay? The maid looked away. That answered enough. She picked up the broom, leaned it back into the corner, and followed him. The hallway outside was quieter than the kitchen. Colder too. His boots echoed against wood floors polished by women who never owned anything inside these walls. She kept 2 steps behind him. You always propose in kitchens? She asked. No. Good. Would have ruined the romance. He gave no reaction. They turned into a dark study at the far end of the hall. Bookshelves lined one wall. Ledgers stacked another. A desk sat near the window, neat enough to feel controlled, not lived in. He shut the door behind them. That sound made her shoulders stiffen. You lock this too? No. Comforting. He moved behind the desk and gestured toward a chair. She stayed standing. Suit yourself. He sat. Now that they were alone, the offer felt stranger. More serious. Less like some cruel performance. He folded his hands. You want honesty? No. But I assume I'm getting it. Yes. Fine. He nodded once. My wife handled appearances. That sounds romantic. She hosted dinners. Settled disputes. Managed staff. So you need another manager. I need stability. She crossed her arms. Hire one. Not the same. Why? People trust marriage. She laughed under her breath. Do they? More than they trust a widower living alone in a house full of ghosts. That caught her. Not because of the words. Because he said them so plainly. You believe in ghosts? No. But you live with them. Yes. For the first time, she noticed it. The room carried another presence without anything moving. A softness left behind. A shape still filling empty space. Her eyes drifted to the shelf. A framed photograph faced backward. Interesting. You loved her? He looked at the desk, not her. Yes. That answer came quicker than everything else. And now? She's dead. That wasn't my question. His eyes lifted. No, he said. Not now. Silence stretched. She walked closer to the desk and looked around. Ink bottle. Ledger books. Silver letter opener. Nothing personal. Then she noticed it. A drawer on the right side, locked. The brass keyhole shone from use. What's in there? Not your concern. Then I'm getting warmer. He ignored that. If you agree, he said, you'll have a room. Food. Clothing if needed. Protection? Yes. From who? He leaned back. That depends. She narrowed her eyes. That's not an answer. It's enough of one. She hated how calm he stayed. Like every emotion in him had already burned out somewhere else. What do you get? He answered immediately. A wife. That's not specific enough. It doesn't need to be. For me, it does. Now he studied her with something close to respect. Not warmth. Just recognition. Speak. She inhaled slowly. No touching me unless I say so. His face didn't change. Agreed. No locking doors. Fine. No public humiliation. You're asking a lot considering you stole from me. She leaned forward slightly. And you asked a hungry stranger to marry you. A beat passed. Fair enough. He nodded. Continue. If this is a paper arrangement, then keep it one unless something changes. Understood. And I eat every day. A flicker passed through his face. Small. Almost human. Yes. She walked toward the window, staring outside at workers moving across the yard. Everything looked normal out there. That bothered her. How long do I have to decide? This week. This week? I prefer efficiency. You proposing marriage like ordering fence repairs. I'm aware. She turned back to him. You always this cold? No. What happened? His jaw tightened. There are questions you don't get answers to yet. She smiled faintly. There it is. What? A real person. He almost looked annoyed. Almost. She tapped one finger against the desk. If I say yes, what changes tomorrow? You stop working in kitchens. That all? You stop being invisible. She stared at him. That line landed harder this time. Not kind. Not cruel. Just accurate in a way she disliked. Her gaze dropped to the desk. A folded document sat near his hand. Marriage license. Already prepared. She blinked. You did this before asking me? Yes. That's unsettling. I like being ready. No, she said quietly. You like control. He didn't deny it. She reached for the paper. Didn't sign. Just touched the edge. Her fingers rested there a moment too long. This feels like a bad decision. Probably. You keep saying that. Because I don't lie often. She exhaled through her nose. Outside, somewhere deeper in the house, a floorboard creaked. Not near the hall. Not near the stairs. Somewhere above them. She looked up instinctively. Someone up there? His eyes stayed on her. No. The answer came too quickly. She looked toward the ceiling one more time. Then back down at the unsigned license between them. The marriage happened too fast for the world to adjust to it. By sunrise, the ranch already knew. By noon, it had already judged. By the time they stepped out of the courthouse, she could feel it in the air. Not words. Pressure. Like the land itself was watching her decide whether she belonged or not. The widower didn't hold her hand. He didn't have to. He walked slightly ahead, like everything already followed him. She stayed beside him, not behind. That mattered more than she expected. At the courthouse steps, the sheriff stood waiting. Hat low. Face unreadable. "You sure about this?" he asked the widower. The widower didn't slow down. "Yes." The sheriff's eyes slid to her. "You," he said. She didn't blink. "No." A pause. Then the sheriff exhaled like that answer meant nothing anymore. "Papers filed," he said. "No undoing it now." The widower replied flatly. "Good." She whispered under her breath, "That's comforting." The sheriff heard it. Didn't react. Only watched them leave like a man watching whether he didn't trust. The wagon ride back was silent at first. The horses pulled steady. Dust lifted behind them like the land didn't approve of what had just happened. She finally spoke. "So I'm your wife now?" "Yes." "That easy?" "Yes." She turned her head slightly. "People gonna think I planned this." "Let them." "I didn't." "I know." That made her look at him. "You do?" He didn't answer right away. "Then, you don't think like that." "Like what?" "Like someone who plans to survive by marrying a stranger in one day." She almost laughed. "That's specific." "I pay attention." She leaned back against the wagon side. "This is going to ruin my life, you know that." "Probably." "You keep saying that word like it doesn't matter." "It doesn't change anything." "That's the problem." Silence again. The ranch came into view slowly. Big. Old. Too quiet. The house sat like it had been waiting longer than it should have. When they stopped, no one came to greet them. That was the first strange thing. The second was the stillness. No voices. No movement. Just wind. She stepped down first. The ground felt heavier here. Like it remembered more than she did. A ranch hand finally appeared near the barn. He froze when he saw her. Then the widower. Then both together. "Sir," he said carefully. "Didn't know." The widower cut him off. "She's my wife." The ranch hand nodded too fast. "Yes, sir." He looked at her now. No greeting. Just measuring. She gave him nothing back. They walked toward the house. The door opened before they reached it. An older housekeeper stood there, hands tight on her apron. Her eyes moved over the woman like she was a mistake. "This her?" she asked. "Yes," the widower said. The housekeeper didn't hide her disbelief. "She's young. She's capable." That word hit differently than expected. Capable. Not wanted. Not loved. Capable. Inside, the house smelled the same as before. Wood polish. Old paper. Something faintly floral trying to survive underneath it. She stopped at the entry. "This is it," she said quietly. "Yes." "This is my new life." "Yes." She turned to him. "No ceremony?" "We had one." "That wasn't a ceremony." "It was legal." She nodded slowly. "Right." The housekeeper stepped forward. "Room's ready." The widower didn't correct her. He just walked upstairs. She followed. Not because she trusted him. Because stopping felt worse. The hallway upstairs was longer than it should have been. Doors lined both sides. All closed. All quiet. At the end, he stopped. "This one," he said. He opened the door. She stepped in. And froze. The room was too perfect. Not lived in perfect. Preserved perfect. A bed pressed clean. Curtains still heavy. A dresser polished like it had never known dust. Then she saw it. A brush on the table. Hair still tangled inside. She didn't move closer. "You gave me her room," she said. "No." She turned slowly. "This isn't her room?" It was. "That's the same thing." He didn't argue. Her voice dropped. "Why is everything untouched?" No answer. She walked to the dresser. A scent lingered there. Faint. Sweet. Wrong. She opened a drawer. Empty. Second drawer. Clothes folded too neatly. Not new. Not old. Suspended. She shut it quickly. "People don't leave rooms like this unless they're waiting for something," she said. "They aren't waiting." "Then what are they doing?" "Remembering." She looked at him sharply. "That's supposed to make me feel better?" "No." Footsteps passed outside the door. She turned slightly. Paused. "What was that?" she asked. "Staff." "No," she said. "That wasn't staff." He didn't respond. That silence told her enough. She walked to the window. The yard below was active now. Workers again. Life pretending it was normal. But no one looked up at the house. Not once. She turned back. "So what now?" "You stay here." "Like this?" "Yes." "And what do I do?" He paused. "Then, learn." "That's it?" "That's enough for now." She stepped closer to him. Lower voice. "You didn't marry me for love." "No." "You didn't marry me for comfort." "No." "Then why do I feel like I just walked into something already dead?" That time, he hesitated. Just a fraction. Then said quietly, "Because you did." Midnight didn't feel like midnight in that house. It felt like something waiting inside midnight. She woke before she opened her eyes. That was the first wrong thing. The second was the sound. Knock. Once. Soft. Not on the door exactly. Somewhere in the hallway. She sat up slowly. The room was dark except for thin moonlight cutting through the curtains. Her breath stayed quiet. She listened. Nothing. Then. Knock again. Same place. Same rhythm. She swung her legs off the bed. Bare feet hit cold floor. "Hello," she called. No answer. She walked to the door. Didn't open it yet. Listened again. Silence. She opened the door anyway. Hallway empty. Long. Too long. Lantern light at the far end flickered once, then steadied. She stepped out. "Hello," she said again. Her voice sounded smaller outside the room. Still nothing. She walked slowly. Each step louder than it should have been. Halfway down the hall, she stopped. A child's shoe sat near the wall. Small. Old. Not random. She crouched. Picked it up. Dust came off too easily. Like it had been placed, not forgotten. "Whose is this?" she whispered. Behind her. A floorboard creaked. She turned fast. Nothing. "Hello," she snapped now. Her voice sharper. Anger replacing fear. Still no answer. She moved again. Toward the stairs. Down. The house changed when she reached the bottom. Air heavier. Sound different. Like the building held its breath down here. She entered the main hall. The front door was locked. Chains not visible. But she felt it. Something keeping it shut from the inside. She tried the kitchen first. Empty. Clean. Too clean. She frowned. They were cooking yesterday, she muttered. A voice behind her spoke. Not tonight. She spun. The housekeeper stood near the pantry door. Arms crossed. Face tired. You hear it too? The housekeeper asked. The knocking? Yes. What is it? The housekeeper didn't answer right away. Just looked at her. Then said, You shouldn't be out here. I live here now. A pause. Then bitterly, Do you? That hit harder than expected. She stepped closer. Tell me. The housekeeper glanced toward the hallway. Lowered her voice. She doesn't like new people in her rooms. She's dead. Not in this house. Silence. The air felt tighter now. She whispered, You're talking about the first wife. The housekeeper nodded once. She doesn't stay quiet. Another knock. This time louder. From upstairs. Both of them froze. She whispered, That's upstairs. I know, the housekeeper said. They both looked toward the staircase. The knocking came again. 3 times. Slow. Deliberate. Like someone deciding whether they should be afraid. She started moving before she realized it. No, the housekeeper said sharply. Don't. I need to see. You don't need anything from up there. She ignored her. Climbed. Step by step. The sound followed her. Knock. Pause. Knock. Pause. At the top, the hallway stretched darker than before. She moved slowly. Room by room. Then stopped. Her room. Door slightly open. She hadn't left it like that. She pushed it wider. Inside. Everything was still. Except the mirror. Something written in dust. Not words she fully understood. Just shape. Like a mark. Her breathing changed. Okay, she whispered. Not funny. Behind her, the housekeeper arrived. Saw the mirror. Went pale. She marked it, she said. She who? The housekeeper didn't answer. Just grabbed her wrist. Leave. No. Now. She pulled free. Tell me what's going on. Another knock. Inside the room this time. Not outside. Both of them froze again. She stepped in slowly. The sound came from the wardrobe. The old wooden one. Still closed. Knock. Her voice dropped. There's someone inside. No, the housekeeper said quickly. But her face said something else. She walked toward it anyway. The housekeeper grabbed her arm again. Don't open it. She's not in here, she said. She's dead. The housekeeper's grip tightened. Then why does she answer the house? That stopped her. Not fear. Understanding starting too late. Another knock. Closer. From the wardrobe. She pulled her arm free again. Moved forward. Hand on the handle. Paused. Did she die here? She asked. Silence. Then the housekeeper whispered, Yes. She opened it. Empty. No body. No figure. Just clothes. Hanging still. But the smell. Too strong. Like someone had just left. She stepped back slowly. Where is she then? The housekeeper shook her head. I don't know. Another knock. Behind them now. Both turned. Bedroom door shut. Then. Knock. From outside the room. She whispered, It's moving. The housekeeper grabbed her again. Listen to me. What? She doesn't want you in his life. Her throat tightened. You mean the widower? Yes. That's insane. No, the housekeeper said quietly. That's the house. Another knock. Right beside them now. The wall. She pressed her palm to it. Cold. Empty. Nothing there. But still. Knock. She pulled her hand away fast. What does she want? She asked. The housekeeper looked at her finally. Eyes tired. Honest. She wants what she lost. Silence again. Then softer. And she thinks you took it. The house was quieter in the morning, but not calmer. Quiet here didn't mean peace. It meant something was listening. She stood in front of the mirror again. Same room. Same dust. But the mark was gone. Her reflection looked normal. Too normal. She leaned closer. No messages today, she muttered. Nothing answered. Behind her, the bed creaked. She turned fast. Empty. She exhaled slowly through her nose. All right, she whispered. So it's like that. A knock sounded downstairs. Once. She paused. Another knock. She left the room. Down the stairs, the house felt different again. Not haunted loud. Controlled quiet. Like someone had cleaned fear into a pattern. The kitchen was active now. Staff moving carefully, avoiding eye contact with her. The cook glanced up. Stopped. Then forced himself back to work. She walked in anyway. A maid stepped aside too fast. Another dropped a plate. It didn't break. But the sound still cut the air. The cook finally spoke. You got a room upstairs now. Yeah. You should stay there. Why? He didn't answer. That was answer enough. The housekeeper entered from the side door, carrying linens. Saw her. Paused. Then said flatly, he wants you in the study after breakfast. Who? The widower. She nodded slowly. Of course he does. She poured herself water from a jug. Drank it standing. No one stopped her. That was new. She looked around the kitchen. Something felt off. Not ghost off. Human off. Like people were pretending harder than usual. She leaned toward the cook. Why's everyone so jumpy today? He didn't meet her eyes. Because you're here. That's not new. It is now. Before she could ask more, the widower appeared at the doorway. No sound first. Just presence. The room tightened instantly. He looked at her. You didn't sleep well. It wasn't a sleep kind of night. He nodded once. Study. He turned. Expected obedience. She didn't move immediately. The cook whispered under his breath, "Don't start trouble." She ignored him and followed. The hallway felt longer again. Every step louder. She broke the silence first. There's something wrong with your house. Yes. That was easy. He didn't react. They entered the study. Door shut behind them. Same room as before. Same desk. But now the air felt heavier. Like decisions had already been made without her. He sat. She didn't. What's going on? She asked. He opened a drawer. Placed a folded paper on the desk. Not the marriage license. Another document. Older. Stamped. She didn't touch it. What is that? Ownership record. For what? The ranch. She frowned. I don't care about your land. You should. Why? He looked at her directly now. Because your name is on it. That stopped her. She stared at the paper. No, it's not. It will be. I didn't agree to that. You agreed to the marriage. That's not the same thing. It is here. She laughed once, sharp. You're insane. Possibly. She stepped closer. You brought me here for paperwork? No. Then what? He hesitated. A fraction. Then said, protection. From what? He didn't answer right away. Outside the study, something moved in the hallway. A soft drag. Both of them paused. She turned slightly toward the door. What was that? Staff, he said. But his tone didn't match certainty. Another sound. Closer. Like fabric brushing wood. She walked to the door. Put her hand on the handle. He said sharply, don't. She paused. Why? Silence. Then he said, quieter, not right now. That made her turn back. You're afraid. I'm aware. That's different. Yes. She opened the door anyway. Hallway empty. No staff. No movement. Just still air. But something felt wrong in the way it was still. She stepped out. Looked both directions. Nothing. Then. A whisper. So soft she almost missed it. From behind her. She turned fast. Nothing there. The widower stood in the doorway now. Watching her. You heard it, she said. Yes. What is that? He didn't answer. Instead, he said, come back inside. She didn't. You're not telling me everything. I know. That's not an apology. It wasn't meant to be. She stared at him. You brought me into this house knowing it's like this. Yes. Why? He looked past her, down the hall. I needed someone it recognizes. That made her stomach tighten. It? He corrected softly, her. Silence. Her voice dropped. You mean your dead wife? Yes. And you think she recognizes me? I know she does. That landed wrong. Deep wrong. She stepped back into the study slowly. Shut the door herself this time. Start talking, she said. He finally leaned forward. And for the first time since she met him, he looked tired. Not cold. Not controlled. Just worn down. She didn't leave peacefully, he said. That much is obvious. No. He paused. She didn't leave at all. Her breath slowed. She died. Yes. But she didn't accept it. She stared at him. That's not how death works. In most places. In all places. He shook his head slightly. In this house, it stayed unfinished. She swallowed. You're saying she's, what, stuck? I'm saying she's present. That's insane. Probably. She stepped closer. Lower voice now. And me? He looked at her. You're new. That's your explanation? It's the only one that matters right now. A knock came again. Not from the hallway. From inside the room. Both froze. The sound came from the desk drawer. The locked one. She stared at it. He didn't move. Another knock. Then silence. She whispered, open it. He didn't answer. The room felt suddenly too small. She repeated, sharper, open it. He exhaled slowly. And for the first time, he reached toward the locked drawer. The drawer clicked before it opened. That sound felt too loud in the room. She didn't realize she was holding her breath until it hurt. The widower pulled the key from his pocket. Slow. Deliberate. Like he was choosing not just to open something, but to accept what came after. "You don't have to see this," he said. She answered immediately. "I do." A pause. Then he turned the key. The lock gave easily. Too easily. The drawer slid open. Inside. Nothing violent. No weapon. Just paper. Folded. Old. Some burned at the edges. And one ribbon. Faded red. She frowned. "This is what you were hiding?" He didn't speak at first. Then, no. She looked up at him. "Then what is it?" He reached in. Picked up one letter. Didn't hand it to her yet. Just held it. "This is what she left behind." "She who?" He didn't answer. That silence told her enough. He finally handed it over. Her fingers touched the paper. Cold. Like it had been waiting a long time. She unfolded it. The handwriting was sharp. Controlled. Not scared. She read silently at first. Then her expression changed. "Wait," she said. He didn't interrupt. She read again. Then looked up. "This is dated before she died." "Yes." "She wrote this knowing she was going to die?" "No." "Then what is this?" His voice dropped. "A warning." She looked back down. Reading faster now. Her face tightened. "You let her stay here after this?" "I didn't have proof." "This says someone was hurting her." "Yes." "And you did nothing?" His jaw tightened. "I didn't know who." She stepped closer now. Anger rising. "You didn't know, or you didn't want to know?" Silence. That answer again. She looked at the letter again. Her voice changed. Slower now. "Governor's office is mentioned here." "Yes." "And the sheriff." "Yes." She looked up sharply. "So this isn't just family drama?" "No." "This is political." "Yes." She laughed once, but there was no humor in it. "You married me into a mess I didn't ask for. I told you it wasn't simple." "This is not simple. This is corruption and cover-up." He didn't deny it. She folded the letter slowly. "Why keep this?" "Because she told me to." That made her pause. "She told you to?" "Yes." "Your dead wife told you to hold on to evidence of her death?" "Yes." "That doesn't make sense." It did to her. She stared at him. "You sound like you still listen to her." "I do." That answer landed heavier than anything else. She stepped back. "You're not just grieving," she said quietly. "You're obeying her." His eyes flickered. Not anger. Something worse. Truth. Another knock came. Not from the drawer this time. From the wall behind them. Both froze instantly. She turned. Nothing visible. But the sound came again. Slow. Patient. She whispered, "That wasn't there before." He said quietly, "It's worse when the letters come out." She turned back to him. "What does that mean?" He didn't answer. Instead, he moved toward the desk. Opened another folder. This one thicker. Legal documents. Maps. Names. She stepped closer. "What is all this?" "Land records." "For what?" "Ownership disputes." She skimmed one page. Then froze. "This land is being contested?" "Yes." "By who?" He didn't answer immediately. Another knock. Closer now. She snapped, "Stop avoiding it." He looked up. The same people in the letter. The governor? Yes. And the sheriff? Yes. She exhaled slowly. So your wife wasn't just involved in some domestic problem. No. She was inside something bigger. Yes. And she died because of it. He didn't say yes. But he didn't need to. She looked at him harder now. Why bring me into this? He finally stood. Walked around the desk. Stopped too close. Because they think I'm alone now. She frowned. And I changed that? Yes. How? He looked at her like the answer should be obvious. Then said quietly. Because you're proof I moved on. Silence. The weight of that landed wrong. She shook her head slightly. So I'm a cover. No. Then what am I? He hesitated. Then. A signal. Another knock. This time from the study door. Both turned. It didn't open. But the handle moved. Slow. Testing. She whispered, "Someone's outside." No, he said. But his voice was less certain now. The handle turned again. Then stopped. Silence. She stepped toward the door. He said sharply, "Don't open it." Why? Because it won't be staff. She paused. What will it be? He didn't answer. The handle moved again. Once. Twice. She reached for it anyway. He grabbed her wrist. Hard. Not painful. But urgent. Not yet, he said. She looked at him. Not yet what? He didn't respond. The handle went still. Dead silence. Then. A whisper from the other side of the door. Not clear words. Just breath. She pulled her wrist free slowly. Stared at the door. Then back at him. Her voice was low now. You knew this was coming. Yes. And you still married me. Yes. She nodded once. Slow. Like something inside her was deciding. Then I want the truth, she said. He didn't move. She stepped closer to the door again. This time, she said, you don't get to stop me. The dinner bell rang like nothing was wrong. That was the first insult of the evening. She stood at the edge of the dining room doorway, watching the table fill slowly. People avoided her seat like it might burn them. The widower entered last. No announcement. Just presence again. Everyone stood slightly straighter. He didn't look at them. Only at her. Sit, he said. She did. Not obedient. Just choosing timing. The chair scraped louder than she meant. The cook served food without speaking. No one ate yet. Not until the widower did. That was the rule she hadn't been told out loud. She broke it anyway. Picked up her fork first. A few eyes flicked toward her instantly. She chewed slowly. Unbothered. The silence tightened. The widower finally spoke. She's my wife, he said. That alone shifted the room. Not surprise. Recalibration. The sheriff was there tonight. Sitting across from her. Watching too carefully. He lifted his glass slightly. Didn't expect that, he said. The widower replied, neither did I. That earned a few uneasy breaths. She looked between them. So, she said calmly, am I supposed to pretend I understand what's happening now? No one answered. She leaned back. Because I don't. The sheriff cleared his throat. You married into a working house, he said. She smiled faintly. That what you call this? The widower didn't stop her. The sheriff continued. There's expectations. Like what? Respect. She nodded slowly. Respect is earned. That got a shift in the room. The cook dropped his gaze immediately. The sheriff narrowed his eyes. The widower stayed still. Then she added, not assigned. A fork paused midair somewhere down the table. The sheriff leaned forward slightly. You should be careful, he said. She tilted her head. About what? Your tone. A beat. Then she laughed once. Not loud. But enough.